Hello, my name is Bill McKernan with Strategic Risk Alternatives. Today I'm presenting Enterprise Risk Management. I appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. Today I'll be presenting the basics of Strategic Risk Alternatives Enterprise Risk Management Program that allows business owners to manage risk more effectively by creating their own insurance company. This is our 4-phase process that we like to work through with each client so they can better understand what is needed to own and operate their own insurance company, while also explaining the importance of partnering with a proven and trusted insurance manager like SRA that has the turnkey solution and manages this for the client. When SRA adds clients, it's important to understand the program and guidelines. Therefore, some basic education is necessary to ensure they understand the program fully. Before we begin, I'd like to draw your attention to these disclosures so I can keep the legal team happy. With over 40 years of combined risk management experience and asset protection, our founders bring a new approach to risk mitigation. The two founders knew there was a better way to protect their clients' overall business health, but the cost with captive insurance solutions were prohibitive, and this is why so few businesses utilized 831B. After 2008 and seeing the financial collapse and good customers losing their businesses, the founders spent years working to redesign a program that was flexible and cost-effective for successful middle market businesses. They work with some of the best tax and law professionals who have unmatched understanding of the 831B tax code to create what we have today. By creating reinsurance companies rather than captives, made this all come together and allows for SRA to provide the best of class service, transparency, and great value in a space of risk management. We are not asking you to replace your traditional insurance. We are here to improve your overall risk management the most efficient way possible, and we are headquartered in Boise, Idaho. Owning your own insurance company has great benefits that affords business owners financial tools not known by most middle market businesses. Other tax incentives encourage you to spend money, like line item 179, which encourages owners to buy more equipment. To us, this is risky behavior. With this program, you're able to write off the premium from your operating company to get coverage with policies that ensure cash flow, and lastly, after 1 year and 1 day, those premiums paid become surplus. All good insurance companies live and breathe off their surplus. Being able to insure your business by building tax advantage dollars allows you to create the rainy day fund or war chest if ever needed. This is what 831B was created to do, help businesses overcome unforeseen issues. You'd now be covering intangible risks that are either not covered or underinsured by traditional insurance, which leaves your business exposed, and you'd have to cover those costs with after-tax money. Our job at SRA is not to have you bogged down in operating another company. You need to be running your business. Therefore, our turnkey solution is simple, and SRA will be managing your insurance company. Think of us as administrators. When you need to make a change, contact us first. We'll take care of that for you or guide you through the proper process. I want to begin by highlighting the fact that business owners have real risk threatening their business today. These examples are pulled off the daily headlines we've seen over the past few years. The scale of today's global economy and pace of change that comes with e-commerce creates a number of risks that were not thought of 20 to 30 years ago. Today, cyber breach, supply chain interruption, and brand protection, these are risks that business owners either cannot buy insurance protection for, or the policies they can purchase come with limits and exclusions. And overall, if you were able to make a claim on any of these policies, it's possible you may not be renewed. The lack of robust risk management strategy that targets these risks can be devastating to a business because unlike traditional risks like theft, fire, or general liability, the new risks of today like cyber breach and brand image affect a company's intangible assets. Here we have a list of some examples of tangible assets. Again, these are fixed assets that are easily quantifiable. Intangible assets are not easily quantifiable. Things like cash flow, intellectual property, supply chain, brand reputation. I always ask business owners to look at those two columns and tell me which one of the two is more valuable to you and your company. For most business owners, the intangible assets are what they place the most value in. Why is that the case? Well, because in assets such as cash flow and brand reputation is where a company differentiates itself, and that is where the equity can be found in their business. In the 1980s and early 90s, public companies began to recognize that the intangible assets brought the most value to its shareholders. So these companies developed a comprehensive approach to addressing the risks, came to be known as enterprise risk management. Quick background on ERM. In the 90s, companies began to hire think tanks to find better ways to manage the risk. A big part of this new broad approach was to self-insure these risks that were underinsured by traditional carriers. These companies were able to self-insure in large part because of the tax incentive that was included in the 1986 Tax Reform Act. Because traditional insurance carriers tend to shy away from covering the intangibles, public companies now had to broaden their approach to risk management outside of the traditional insurance market. For example, the greatest intangible asset to public companies is the value of its stock. In the internet age, it no longer matters if a company has a great product, good marketing share, and brand loyalty, because if the CEO was caught doing something wrong and it suddenly went viral, the company's stock would take a hit. When that happens, there isn't an insurance policy to fall back on and recoup those losses. Because of the risks that are generated by today's e-commerce and global economy are still relatively new and ever-changing, the traditional insurance companies struggle to catch up. And when they start offering coverages, those are often filled with exclusions as well as limits that don't fully address the risk that exists. This broad approach of ERM allows company to identify and mitigate those risks. The 1986 Tax Reform Act introduced Section 831 of the U.S. Tax Code. This is the section of the tax code that companies began to utilize as part of its enterprise risk management program. And it's the tax code utilized by our firm to bring these same risk management tools to the middle market companies. With the 1986 Tax Reform Act, Congress recognized the fact that business owners were self-insuring a lot of their own risk. America's farmers in particular were self-insuring their crop yield as the private sector began moving out of crop insurance. I should note that this was prior to the government's financial backing of crop insurance. The problem with self-insuring is that self-insured buckets of money are not recognized by the IRS as insurable premium and therefore not allowed as a deduction. Companies that self-insure are doing so with after-tax dollars, creating an obstacle to building proper reserve dollars to manage risks as they arise. The Congress of 1986 wanted to encourage business owners to self-insure and build a rainy day fund. That being the case, Congress developed Section 831B of the tax code, which allows business owners to operate in a small property casualty insurance company and include an incentive to do so with the first $1.2 million of premium each year into the company not considered taxable. In 2017, Congress adjusted this amount upward to $2.2 million each year. Congress included that adjustment in the PATH Act of 2015 that was signed by President Obama and due to set inflation table that changed to 2.3 in 2018. In the 30 years since the 1986 Tax Reform Act, there have been many legal cases brought by the IRS against owners of these insurance companies, and the IRS has both won and lost cases related to small insurance companies. Throughout the decades worth of court cases and IRS publications, the standards for owning an insurance company under 831B tax code have begun to crystallize. Our firm, in consultation with many attorneys and CPAs, now have a clear direction that in order to own an insurance company under 831B tax code, you must meet certain criteria that we call the four-part test.
As an insurance manager for our clients, we ensure that our owners are adhering to this four-part test. We have an in-depth video explaining the four-part test in detail. I highly recommend you viewing this video to better understand the crucial part of owning your own insurance company.
Our services, as you see, are from start to finish. From creating the new reinsurance company to annual renewals to documenting dividends, we are here to help manage every aspect of owning and operating an insurance company. Again, we understand you have a business to run. Therefore, as insurance managers, we manage your insurance company for you.
Thank you for watching the video today. For additional information, go to strategicriskalternatives.com.